I think as we move into a post-Christian society, Christianity is going to be invited to take its place again, almost at the table of ideas.
Yeah.
And I think that I almost welcome that change because the Christianity that everyone's opposed to, I think, is often a caricature of full, rich Christianity.
That perception of what Christian society in New Zealand used to be like, and harking back to saving New Zealand from going down the slippery slope of secularism almost.
That's right, yeah. I mean, at best, a kind of a rose-tinted or romantic view. I mean, at worst, probably a pretty legalistic and shrill voice of Christianity. And so I think society has rightly reacted to that and come up against that and said that they don't fully understand that.
There's also perhaps a perception that, you know, as you say, sometimes Christians are saying harsh things to a society which isn't receiving them, but also a perception that Christians have nothing to say on a variety of topics, that there's almost like brain surgery that happens when somebody becomes a Christian. They've been brainwashed and have nothing to say or contribute to the rest of society. Do you find that perception as well?
It's always surprised me and disappointed me that Christians are very keen for people to understand the rules, but don't really try and do that without any understanding of the rule giver. And so there's not a backfilling in of why. Often it lacks context. People are looking at, I guess, much more creative ways to bring the abundant life that the gospel promises into every sphere of culture and society.
I mean, I don't want to create the impression that this is something which has been done to the Christian community, because to an extent also the way in which we compartmentalise our lives, that, okay, well, this is my church stuff, this is the God stuff that we do, and then Monday to Friday I'm somebody completely different. And privatising our faith in some ways is as much about what we've done to ourselves.
Yes, and I think the privatising of one's faith is unhelpful. It's unhelpful to everyone. It's unhelpful because I think the very wise things that faith have to offer to any public conversations or democratic conversations are lost. But also it creates a very difficult scenario for the one trying to live under such a division, and eventually you end up doing your faith very badly, and probably because you're not taking your faith out into your work, you're missing out on some of the creativity and imagination that it has to offer that realm as well. So I think it's problematic on a bunch of levels. Yeah.
That danger of opting out, if you like, of saying, well, I will be removed from the world, that I will live my personal faith in a way which isn't contaminated by the ways of the world, either ignoring it and running the risk of becoming increasingly irrelevant to it.
So there's two ways you can kind of capitulate to culture. I think one is to just completely give in and just have absolutely no difference between the culture that's around you, and just throw your hands up almost in frustration and sort of give in and go, well, you know. Or the other way I think you can give in is to remove yourself. I think it's far more, it takes far more discernment to be able to sit in the middle of culture and to be, as the sort of the cliched fridge magnet goes, to be in it but not of it, to be in it and seeing your role as salt and light, taking that seriously, and also not being sanctimonious about that as well, and not sort of being, hey, I'm the salt's arrived, you guys can all relax, or take a load off. I'm sort of here.
Literally God's gift to the situation.
Yeah. And I think, gosh, I mean, that irks me, and I claim to have a bit of grace bouncing around inside me. So it doesn't surprise me that it irks people to be told that. If the gospel is true, then I want it to work against the most robust discussions from alternatives, not some weak or watered down version, so that I feel secure and happy. Like the gospel will work. The gospel will be able to weather all sorts of questioning, all sorts of deep questions, all sorts of assaults, if you like. Mm-hmm. And I think when the church has ignored that or has done its best to kind of, either indefinitely postpone or cancel those kind of conversations, then I think that's problematic for especially young adults sort of hitting university. Sometimes asking what a Christian, how do I be a better Christian, or what should a Christian be doing, is the wrong question. And this can sometimes sound a bit cliche, but the question instead should be, what should a human being look like? Yeah. Of all people, we should have the best understanding of what a flourishing life as a human person looks like. Mm. And so sometimes to ask, what should I do as a Christian, almost defaults us back into some of those realms that we've been talking about earlier, even though we didn't sort of name them, but some of those sort of moral, a Christian should be engaging in these moral issues and these, but what would a fully human outworking or contribution to the arts, to music, to science look like? Mm.